Hello, it's Tuesday. Welcome. This is TOEFL Tuesdays. I'm Lucas from Magoosh, and this is our fourth video on TOEFL tips. And we're talking about the writing section today. The writing section is, of course, the last section of the TOEFL with 2 essays. And those essays can cause some problems. Of course, all of the TOEFL can cause some problems. So if the writing section is tough for you, this is for you. First, here's one problem a lot of students have, especially at lower levels, is they spend too much time focusing on the text. This is specifically, by the way, for the integrated essay, the first essay that you write. The integrated essay has a text and then a lecture, and then you write about what you read and heard. And some students spend too much time writing about the text, what they read. Really, the question is always summarize the lecture, summarize what the professor said. So if you spend time focusing on the reading like this, that causes a problem. If you're focusing on the reading, it's especially problematic when you use the same words that were in the text, because that makes it look like you didn't understand the lecture. If you didn't understand the lecture, then, well, you're going to have trouble understanding lectures in real US universities, right? You need to understand that lecture in order to function in a college or university setting where English is the main language. So if you have trouble understanding that lecture and then you can't write about it, that's a problem. So you need to prove that you understood the lecture, and that means not copying the notes. Stay focused on the lecture. Keep your essay about the lecture. You will reference the text. You will compare the lecture with the text. But you are not going to copy the text. Do not copy any phrases. Do not copy any sentences. You can use some of the same words, but use them in new phrases, new sentences. And use them only in comparison to the lecture. Do not just rewrite the text. By the way, if it looks like you really just copied information from the text, you can get a 0 out of the possible 5. So that is obviously a problem. You don't want that. You need to do more than copy the text. And the other problem that I see very often is no variety. What do I mean by this? Well, think about it like this. If you read an essay and every sentence has the same basic structure, it looks like the person who wrote the essay did not know any other structures. So if I say, it is this, it was that, the professor said this, the professor said that, the professor said blank. If you do that again and again and again, it looks really bad. What you need is a mix of different sentence types. And one of the ways to do that is to focus on the length of your sentences. If you mix long and short sentences, then you need to use different types of sentences. Because if you use a simple, independent phrase as a sentence, just, the professor said a lot. Very short sentence. The professor talked about minerals. Okay, that's one short sentence. Now, if you use a longer phrase, you need to make it a complex or a compound sentence to increase the length. And those complex or compound sentences we talk about in our blog, but those are sentences that use words like when and if and but and or, and that make longer sentences that combine thoughts. So when the professor first talked about minerals, she brought up the idea of, oh, I don't know, you can go on and make a longer sentence and then say, and she also talked about in the same sentence, and continue it. And you can do this actually for quite a long time and make a bigger and bigger sentence. And then your next sentence, make it a short one. Mix it. If you mix, then it shows the range of the different types of sentences and the different types of connections you can make between sentences. And that is very important in any writing, but especially on the TOEFL. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next week.